Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you could learn to work and play and get along with each other. You got to listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Oh, believe in yourself, for that's the place to start. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. To learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day.
Hey! Hey! DW! Hey! Whoa!
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you could learn to work and play and get along with each other. You got to listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Oh, believe in yourself, for that's the place to start. And I say, hey, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. To learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day.
Hey! Hey! DW! Hey! Whoa!
See how that is once we actually get in game. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. Oh, look at our nice rat friend here with her not so nice dreads and goggles, man. Alright, we gotta go get our sin burned. Burn some sins. We are sinless. You know, it's just like the good book said. Let he who is without sin shoot the first cop. I actually need to change the title to that, don't I? Fuck. Let's see. Where is the... Oh, it's over. Whoops. On this side. There it is. Can I say shoot the first cop on my title? Maybe I can't. Or maybe I shouldn't. Alright, there we go. Okay. So yeah, we are not yet Shadowrunners. Wait, how do I, what? Oh. Large X fashioned from overlapping strips of peeling duct tape. What? Oh. That. Didn't realize. Okay, that's weird. Is everyone gonna be here now? A bunch of people. Oh yeah, I think people are here now. Also, wait, is everyone else not? I guess they're not with me because this is now like the. Just thought Duncan would be with me at least. But maximum law. I clicked on you to talk to you. Bin's electronics crowd every dry patch of deck space on this rusty old boat. A young man wearing bulky virtual reality goggles glances your way for a moment, then turns away in disdain. I'd like to look at your tech. Doesn't even look at you. Shop's closed. Get lost. Wow. Is it because I haven't burned my sin yet? Is that the issue? You can't even try to go up there. Hey, who's this guy? Spider Shen. The monk proprietor of the stall regards you coldly as you approach. Before you can even utter a word, you're interrupted. Nothing for sale here. Not for you. If you want to buy something, you get kindly Cheng to vouch for you first. Until then, screw off. Okay, I do need to go. So no one's going to talk to me until after I finish this part. Which is fair enough. Alright. Let's go into the Mahjong parlor. Where's Moppet? Oh, there she is. She's so tall. Kindly Cheng watches you closely as you walk across the Mahjong parlor. As you approach, her lieutenant leans in, brings her mouth close to the triad boss's ear. Cheng smiles and nods, her eyes never leaving you. There's a twinkle in the straw sandal's eye. Is that what she's called? The straw sandal? I don't think that's a very good nickname. If we heard that last time, we probably said the same thing, but I don't remember it. I've heard from Bao. He got my message very clearly, and I understand that there were no casualties created during your little delivery run. I am pleased and surprised. I get that a lot. I do get that a lot. A wry grin. Do you? Perhaps your bravado is warranted. We'll see. My message was delivered and Strangler Bow is back in the fold, earning for me. As far as I'm concerned, our transaction is complete. While you were gone, I set the wheels in motion to wipe your identities. She pulls out her PDA, stabs a button with a lacquered fingernail. The order has been set. Congratulations. You are now sinless. Shadow people. Wu exhales heavily. Now he's got his goggles off. I guess they are just a combat thing. His eyes remain focused straight ahead, but his shoulders sag. Well, I guess that's done. Yeah, I guess so. But I'm not. Wu pulls himself up to his full height. What are you gonna do? Whoever gave the kill order on Carter also forced us to give up our identities, and took Raymond. Wu sets his jaw firm. That's all I can think about. Finding who did this. Finding Ray. Oh, everybody hates Raymond. Kindly Cheng holds up a hand. While I was working to get your sins burned, I also had my network look into Raymond Black's disappearance. Wow. Hi Daimon. Daimon says, that was a lot easier than the game suggested it would be. Burning your sin, do you mean? I've been thinking about what you told me earlier, and I agree. She eyes the room carefully and leans in. I can't just let this lie. Someone killed my runners? It would be a sign of weakness to the Yellow Lotus and others, if I do nothing. She rests her PDA on the mahjong table facing you. The triad boss's tongue slips from her mouth as she looks over the top, hunting for the right button on its upside-down interface. She finds it and looks up at you again. I have news to share with you, my darlings, the kind you won't like. Raymond Black is dead. Oh, you figured that was going to be a whole 7-part quest line? Can't be Shadowrunners while you still have sins. I mean, they couldn't send us anywhere, I guess, outside of the black market areas, but obviously those would be probably pretty extensive. But yeah, because they, I don't know if you saw when I first got into this area, it's just a few minutes ago, none of the merchants will talk to me until the sin is burned. So I can't, like, buy anything. She taps the button, and a recorded newscast appears on the screen. Raymond's photograph appears on the screen behind a reporter standing on the docks in Victoria Harbor. It's a picture you've seen before. A professional portrait taken for a press release about a youth center he was opening in the Redmond Barrens. Why the fuck was he opening a youth... Who the fuck is this guy? I thought he was just, like, some dude who, you know, took in these orphans or whatever. Like, if he's running a youth center, why was he taking in orphans personally? Under Raymond's photo are the words, Seattle man killed. Oh no, not Seattle man. Another shooting involving the police department. A Seattle community organizer and industrial engineer was apparently shot and killed while resisting arrest at Victoria Harbor last night. HKPF police report that the UCAS man, Raymond Black, was behaving erratically and would not respond to police orders to surrender. No additional information regarding Black or why he was traveling to Hong Kong are available. Police have stated that due to the shooting's proximity to last night's shootout with the White Star, the investigation must remain confidential, and no other details are being released at this time. Seattle man, sworn nemesis of Florida man, yeah. Kindly Cheng taps the button again, and the video closes. Wu puts his hands up to his face. This just keeps getting worse. Definitely isn't getting any better. Raymond's dead. Wu puts his hand over his mouth, trying to process the information. He sways, and for a moment it looks as if he's going to pass out. Isabella reaches out to touch Wu, thinks better of it, and pulls back her hand. Sorry for your loss. I never had a father, so I don't know what it's like to lose one, but sorry. I mean, this is obvious, right? You okay, Duncan? I mean, he's gonna say he's not okay. I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna be okay for a long time. Kindly taps the video closed. She hunts around the keypad and selects another button. I'm afraid that's not all, my darlings. This is security footage from Victoria Harbor last night. You'll find it contains a contradiction. The PDA shows silent, grainy footage of Raymond sitting in a tea shop flanked by 2 guards. He's looking down at something in his hand, completely distracted. Footage continues, and the camera displays several black-clad figures entering its field of view from different angles, guns ready. tall, sharply dressed man in a suit walks briskly toward Raymond, flanked by two more. Raymond stands to face him and the camera gets a clear view of the suit's face. White plastic. His guards turn to draw weapons and muzzle flashes erupt from all sides. One of Raymond's guards goes down and his submachine gun fires wildly, hitting the camera. Is he a white plastic face? Is he a robot? Wu puts his hands on the table and leans in. Those weren't cops, and Raymond wasn't resisting arrest. What's with that guy's face? Galvin reaches up to stroke at that rat perched on her shoulder. Is that a mask? Or is it a digital camera blocker? Like the thing in Zero History? I think it's in Zero History. It doesn't look like a mask. It looks like some sort of semi-rigid plastic implant. Real craftsmanship. She pushes out her lower lip in appreciation. Quite the fashion accessory. Oh darn, it is a thing. I like the idea that it was just a digital effect. It's also the kind of fashion accessory that stands out in a crowd. This guy's either a fool or an arrogant son of a bitch. He sets his jaw firm. Either way, I'm gonna find him. Kindly Cheng watches Wu intently. I believe you. Wu stands back and turns to you. What now? Or what now? Sorry, that's not to her. Like, you believe me? Well, we find out who this plastic-faced man is, and then we get some answers. With what resources? Cheng's eyes sparkle. I'm afraid there are some facts that you are going to have to face. She puts on a grave face. You are alone in this country. No network, no money, no identity. I can protect you from the police, but how would you go about discovering what happened to Raymond without me? How would you survive? This is a topic that requires serious consideration. Kindly wipes her hand across a stack of tiles, spreading the ivory-colored pieces across the table. You've had a very long night, my sweets. Very long. That's like, is she gonna make us play mahjong for it? And frankly, you all look like shit. Rest now. I promise you safety in my town for the night. We'll talk about the plastic-faced man tomorrow. Kindly gestures to Gobbet and Isabel. Ladies, go find our new friends a place to bed down in that rat's nest squat boat you call home. We'll all talk after you've slept. Figure out our next steps together. Yes, Auntie? Yes, Auntie. Thank you for your help, Auntie. Of course, my sweet. Kindly Cheng smiles, and her black button eyes flash cold. What are friends for? Objective added. Get some sleep. I know it's a thing that happens in a lot of games, but it always makes me laugh anyway. Like, get some sleep. Go to bed. Right this instant, young man. So, can we talk to people now? This tall, lanky Hong Konger regards you with a sickly smile. He holds a smoking cigarillo limply in his fingers, and he's surrounded by drones. Smooth jazz plays on tinny speakers. I'd like to look at your drones. He lazily waves you off with his cigarillo. Sorry, beautiful, you're not from around here. Move it along. Still, I got my sin burned. I guess word hasn't gotten around yet. Just want to go to some shops. Spend some money. I don't even know how much money I have to play the jazz drones. Cause I need a cyber deck. And I need some more spells. What is Essence? I don't think Essence does anything. Like, I think it's just a limit. You two can bug here for a while. She nods with her nose towards the hatch. You've each got a head to take care of your necessities. Try to knock before you enter someone else's, okay? Seriously. I know the drill. Wu turns to you. Stinks of fish, just like that place we squatted at on Leary Avenue back when we were kids. One of the Atslon family and their dog. You hated that dog. He kept digging out my food stash. No matter what I hid it, he'd find it and scarf down a week's worth of grub. Wipes his nose with a gloved hand. Still, it's sad what happened to him. And the family. No one should go out that way. He stretches and his spine pops like a handful of firecrackers. I think I've been up for something like 36 hours straight. Drops his arms. This has been one shit stain of a day. Time to end it. Ark turns to you, raises an eyebrow. Anything you need before I leave you to it? Is it just you and Isabel living here? Yeah. Gobbett's mouth screws up a bit. No, the nightjar and gunshot are gone. It's just us. Squeal of metal grinding on metal rips in the boat. It sounds like it's coming from the level below. And that creepy Russian guy renting the engine room downstairs. Nothing to worry about. He mostly keeps to himself. She checks her PDA. He'll stop soon. He's usually quiet by now. How'd you get your hands on this place? How do people like us get our hands on anything? We found it. You found it empty? He sweeps his eyes across the cabin. The doubt is plain on his face. Somebody abandoned a prime piece of real estate like this? She shrugs. Close enough. It was full of BTL junkies when we came across it. They were completely wigged out on some multiplayer cyber game. I'm not sure they ever chipped out of it. They were completely emaciated, stewing in piles of their own shit. Their eyes had sunk into their skulls. Pretty gruesome stuff. They racked up a killer score, though. True, they had the moves. Should have hung an IV while they were playing, though. Turns out, nutrition is important. So what happened? They die? She shrugs. Nightjar ran him out. Not sure what happened to them after that. Anyway, it's ours now. Auntie Cheng says so. All but the engine room, you mean? Right, everything but that. Auntie wrenched it out from under us. That must have pissed you off. She shrugs. Whatever, we weren't using it. As long as our downstairs neighbor keeps to himself, he can have the lower level. Especially if it keeps Auntie Cheng happy. Is there a place for my stuff? You can check the locker over there. You can stash your stuff in it. No one will touch your things in there, and it's a lot bigger than it looks. Infinitely big, in fact. I think I'll have a look around. Okay, but get some sleep soon. You look like you could use it. We'll go see Kindly in the morning. Figure out our next move. Everybody's going to sleep. So, I want to look around. Guess I don't get to interact with anything. Got a little computer area. Got some, I don't know, I guess that's the hatch down below, maybe? A little kitchen. A little dining area. Another kitchen. Why do they have, like... Wait. Looks like a weird, like... Looks like radio, you know, like electronic equipment or something on this side. But then the top looks like fucking stove burners. But then they're also over here. Which is an actual oven. I'm confused by this art. Oh, there's Duncan. I'm guessing we cannot go into their rooms, which are probably on the side. Where do the stairs go? Do they just lead back out? No, that leads back out. Steesh. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that leads out. So where does this go? This just said stairs. I guess let's talk to Duncan first. Hey, Cade. Alright, talk later. He's got some things to do, like sleeping. Oh, never mind. This is their rooms. Well, that's awkward. Where does she go to the bathroom? I thought she said that everybody had their own head. Like... Alright, well, we can look at everybody's rooms. Look at all this equipment. Got things to do. Turns around and resumes staring intently at the toilet. Uh-huh. He's got a brood. He seems like a brooder. The cot in your cabin is neatly made, with crisp-looking sheets and an insulated plastic blanket. An insulated plastic blanket? Fine layer of dust-coated surface. It's been a long time since anybody slept here. Well, then where were the other two sleeping? Were they not using these rooms? What rooms were they using? Or did he, like, sleep on the top bunk because he was a fucking weirdo or something? Like the empty top bunk. Like, no, I'm just gonna sleep on the bare metal. Also gross, there's a, like, drink there. You climb into the cot and warp your way under the sheets. They've been starched stiff as boards, but you've slept beneath worse. The lice and bedbugs that plagued your old prison cell are mercifully absent here, and the salt air is fresher than the rancid stink of the Redmond Barrens. Maybe they were sharing. I guess, but nobody seemed to like Gutshot. You know, he was an asshole, right? So... or not Gutshot. Wait, yeah, Gutshot, right? Yeah, because the other guy is... Fuck, I don't remember their names. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Fucking Gutshot, what an asshole. Yeah. The moment your head hits the pillow, exhaustion sets in. You can barely keep your eyes open. Sleep washes over you like a warm bath, and everything goes black. Are we gonna have a dream? Oh god. I think we might be. What the fuck is that? Oh no. Flashes. Oh no. Oh, who's that? Oh. Objective complete. Get some sleep. The dream is suffocating. Shifting tunnel of glass and steel, the towering silhouette of dark majesty, the shadowy doorway, and the teeth. They snap at your heels as you claw your way back to consciousness. Oh, I don't need teeth snapping at my heels. Towering silhouette of dark majesty. Galadriel. You open your eyes to a Duncan looming over you. He shakes your shoulder roughly. Cade! Come on, Cade, wake up. I gotta go talk to Kindly. The others have already left. That was one rough night. Let's go over your shoulder. Cocks the thumb with the hatch. We gotta go. I'm trying to wake you for a while now. You're thrashing around in your sleep. Thanks. Let's get going. We don't want to keep a mob boss waiting. My thinking too. I'm good to go. From the expression on his face, he doesn't look good to go. Did you get some rest? He reaches up and rubs the back of his neck. Enough, I guess. His fingers hit a knot. He winces. I didn't sleep well last night. Bad dream. What about? He shrugs. I never remembered my dreams all that well. It's probably motion sickness. I'm used to sleeping on a boat. I woke up a little while ago and hit the head, and I came back and woke you. You doing okay? I'll survive. But man, nothing's gone right since we stepped foot in this country. I'll tell you something though, and this is after a full night's sleep. I don't believe Ray's dead. What makes you say that? Think about it. That statement from the cops in the newscast could be fake. Ours was. And that surveillance footage? We never saw Raymond get shot. The camera was hit by stray gunfire. His passion is intense, but contained. Focused. Raymond's alive, Cade. I know it. So what do you want to do now? I don't know. Wait for a lead to turn up, I guess. He smiles. His teeth are white and straight and perfect. Really? For a kid who grew up poor? I mean, I guess maybe Shadowrun has cheap, you know, dental work. You can get stuff fixed later, but that seems unlikely, even for a cop. I'm just a muscle, remember? The brain's the outfit. Just like when we were kids. God, I feel like I'm 12 years old again, squatting on a sinking trawler. He has cyber teeth. I mean, that's actually more plausible, to be honest. My partner's gone. Raymond's gone. Hell, I'm gone. I don't even have a name anymore. Now I can't even go to sleep and hide from it all without having a nightmare. His jaw tightens and his teeth grind so loud you can hear it. What else is going to be taken away from me? I'm here, Duncan. I'm not going anywhere. Lou's mouth tightens. Too soon. He checks his watch. Goblin Isabel left a while ago. We should get going. See what that triad lady has to say. Alright. No, leave the room. Leave the room. I just want to talk to the merchants. Oh, there she is. Oh, did you get some asshole you're gonna execute in front of us? Kindly's place reeks of stale cigar smoke and fresh urine. Clicking of mahjong tiles is strangely absent. In its place is a low murmur of laughter and an air of eager anticipation. All eyes are focused on the groaning figure kneeling bloody and bound at the feet of Kindly Cheng. She beckons to him with her finger and he struggles toward her, the loud rustling of the plastic tarp crackling under his knees as he moves. If they put a tarp under you, buddy, it's a pretty bad sign. His pants are wet with fear. So, urine? An acetylene torch lies on the table at Chang's right hand. Jesus! Just shoot him and be done with it. Kindly Chang ignores the scene. She behaves as if all is right in the world. How did you sleep, my little ones? Fine, thanks. What's with the guy on the floor? She indicates the kneeling man with an incline of her nose. Shitbird here is a plainclothes cop. He snuck into the area last night while you were sleeping, hoping to find you and kill you before his competition got to you first. My men found him outside the trawler you were sleeping on. They saw to it that your rest was undisturbed and that your location remained a mystery. So I guess the fact that he wanted to get you before a competition gets here is the explanation of why, nobody knows he's here, so him going missing doesn't cause trouble. She nods her head back toward the pillar of meat standing behind her. You can thank Mr. Bao for that. So I wonder how this plays out if you don't save Bao. If you just, kill him, which is an option. Let's nod at Strangler Bao. Bao inclines his head, 1/4 of an inch. She addresses the bloody man on his knees. Now, shitbird, tell my friends here what you told me. I don't know anything, I swear. We just got the orders in last night. Pushes his head towards you and Wu from the floor, struggling to keep his balance. Somebody high up wants these two dead. The whole department is in on it. I don't know anything else. Someone from high up. The old woman lifts her foot, taps his chin with the toe of her shoe. How high? Cop looks up at her, looks around the room filled with triad soldiers. One of them opens his coat and shows the cop something inside. He closes it slowly and winks. The cop drops his head to his chest. All the way up. All the way up. It's someone on the council. Dun dun dun! I have no idea what the council is. Someone on the executive council wants these two dead. Chang spits on him with a sneer. fuck your ancestors to the 18th generation. Give me the truth. Cop wears the spittle. He never lifts his head. It's the truth, madam, I swear it. Whoever it was labeled them as terrorists, or to terminate with extreme prejudice. Kylie Cheng shuffles closer to the kneeling cop, reaches down and strokes his head with her hand. And she slowly digs her fingers into his scalp. She pulls back hard until his chin points high. Triad boss leans in close and searches his eyes with her own. That's all he's got. She lets go of his head and smooths his buzzed-cut hair with her hand. For whatever reason, last night someone on the Executive Council of the Free Enterprise Zone ordered the Hong Kong police force to kill 2 nobodies from Seattle. I find that fascinating, don't you? Yes, but why the need to label us international terrorists? She strokes the policeman's cheek with the back of her hand. Her rusty voice becomes sweet as she explains the way of the world. Propriety, my darling. When the government has someone gunned down, they prefer to make it appear justified. People feel safer when their murders feel like part of civilization. My, but you have definitely fallen into the deep end of the pool. Seattle isn't like Hong Kong. There, the megacorps control the government. Here, the corps are the government. I'm not sure that's different. The Executive Council is chosen by the Corporate Board of Governors. They're basically the legislative and executive branches of the Hong Kong government in one tiny package. 8 people call all the shots. Neat and efficient. Kindly Cheng steps back from the cop and lights one of her thin black cigars. For the wage slaves and the civilian sheep, the corporations are a pantheon of gods who wield absolute power. She looks around the room. But not for us. The Triad woman takes a long pull from her cigar and taps her ash on the kneeling cop's head. Who else knows about my guest's visit to Hioi, shitbird? No one, madam. I hadn't called it in yet. I wanted the kill for myself. No one knows they're here, I swear it. She turns to her enforcer. Mr. Bao? Bao fiddles with the PDA on his meaty hands. He's telling the truth. No outgoing calls on his PDA. Very good. Thank you, Bao. She nods at the cop. And thank you for your honesty. In one smooth motion, Strangler Bao produces a silenced pistol, fires it once into the policeman's head, and replaces it in his jacket. His face never changes expression. What the hell? I was a cop. Oh, looks like the triads can be just as efficient. Cheng takes a drag on her cigar. Yes, my darling. She balances her cigar in her shot glass, picks up some mahjong tiles, and begins playing with them absently. It is clear our friend Raymond Black was up to something involving the walled city, something having to do with prosperity. And this executive council member wanted Raymond dead for it. She stacks her tiles up one by one. Click-clack. Now they want you dead for it, too. Click. The plastic-faced man may show up on your door one day, too. She knocks the pile over and it clatters to the table loudly. I have a proposal for you, my sweets. A smile lights up her dead black eyes. Work for me. With Nightjar, and Gutshot dead, I find myself with 2 job openings. Fill them. I have need for deniable assets here. Players unaffiliated with the triads who can take care of some of the more unsavory business needs about town. Ah, yes, the unsavory needs of the criminal syndicate, as opposed to the savory ones. You've proven yourselves resourceful, and you have no existing connections here. That can be a positive in this line of work. Shadowrunners! Wu grunts, his jaw tightens, but he stays quiet. In exchange, I will keep you safe from pests like this one. She nods at the body on the floor. The pool of blood on the plastic wrap continues to widen. You know you gotta, like, wrap that up before the pool goes off the tarp. Otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. You'll have safe harbor here in my town, and a steady source of income. She picks up a handful of tiles again, and while you dip your toe into the waters of corporate espionage, organized crime, and clandestine mercenary actions, I will employ my network to find the plastic-faced man and gather information about Raymond Black, where he's been, who he's talked to, who stood to gain from his death, what this prosperity could be, and what's in it for you. Besides the money and the benefits of helping others in my community, I need to learn who killed one of my clients and then order the cops to execute my team of Shadowrunners. Her voice drops and she becomes deadly serious. This is a brazen disregard of my power. Face dictates it must be confronted or I stand to lose everything. How would the arrangement work? I find the right jobs for people with your talents. You do what our clients cannot do for themselves. I take a finder's fee and a small percentage of your earnings. You make a lot of new yen very quickly. It's all very civilized. She leans in. Work with me. Allow me to help you make money. Let my network work for you and help you find out what you've gotten yourselves into. Without my help, you won't last a day out there. You are completely out of your depth, I'm afraid. You need a partner. Kindly Chang will be your partner. Whose hand goes to his hips, drops his head and shakes it, a little confused. I gotta wrap my brain around this, Cade. Things are moving fast. There's a lot to process. I mean, we did see it coming, of course, but Duncan's an idiot, so... And a cop. Think about it, Duncan. This gives us freedom to find out what happened to Ray. I know, I get it. I just gotta reconcile this whole Shadowrunners. He grips the back of his neck, squeezes hard, rips his hand away. Ah, fuck it. I'm not a cop anymore. That guy's dead. He nods, the decision made. I'm in. What about you? I mean, it doesn't actually matter what we choose. It's just always about, like, thinking about what our motivations are. I'm into. I didn't have anything back home anyway. Looks at you and lets out a chuckle. Yeah, you might want to ask yourself why someday. Okay, I'm in, but this is a temporary situation for me. Raymond is alive, I'm sure of it. So I'll run the shadows. I'll run the shadows! As long as Auntie Cheng keeps up her end of the bargain and helps us figure out what really happened to him. Then I'm going to find my father. Then it's done. Hyoi is now open to you. Ah, there it is. Okay, so she gestures to her lieutenant, who raises a finger to her ear and whispers into her sleeve. First order of business. Cade here already has chosen a street name. Yes, my very discreet street name. She turns her attention to Wu, but Duncan Wu don't exist anymore. You'll need one too. Wu sighs. Yeah, okay. I'll think of something. Like goggles. Gobbet runs her cheek against her rats, a glint in her eye. I think we've already got you covered, Gun Show. She turned to Isabel. Fits, doesn't it? Indeed. I knew that was gonna stick. It has stuck. Gobbet, Isabel, we'll handle this the same way we did with all your previous work. She didn't say Nightjar. All the jobs I line up for you will be sent to your computer on the squat boat. Taiwan said, damn it, I was gonna say goggles. Look, if Fiona's not streaming anymore, I gotta beat you to some things on somewhere. Or not streaming regularly, I should say. She's pointing at you. Why me? It's a simple process of elimination. She points to the little decker. Isabel isn't the leader type. You got that right. She moves her finger to the orc girl. As for Gobbet, Let's just say Gabba doesn't have a head for business. Not my thing. Then she rests her finger on Wu. And then there's Gun Show. She wiggles it. Jury's out on Gun Show. Meaning? The response is direct, straightforward. Meaning there's a lot going on in that head of yours right now, and I'm not sure I can trust you. So I'm in charge because I'm the best of the worst? Oh, my sweet. Don't put it that way. She opens her arms. You're the most equipped for the role. She's making sense. You're the right person for this, Cade. We already talked about this, Kate. Like, we already did that. Ah! Shit! I was too busy with this one. I didn't even read this one. Fuck. The game should really detect that. I mean, I guess they don't really care because it's just hilarious, but fuck. Oh. Okay then, guess I'm running the show. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna click it. I don't think we'd get any funny response from Duncan, obviously, so. Wu shakes his head, eyebrows raised. Gotta be weird calling. Yeah, shit! Well, we still got it. We still got it. It's kind of funny because, like, they could totally just not have you enter a nickname at character creation and have you do it later, like, in this point. Gobbet looks from Isabel to Wu to you. I guess this is our new crew. Rod on her shoulder scurries to the top of her head for a better view. Welcome to the shadows. Maybe I should have... God, I could probably, like, edit the save game, but... I was like, should I get it changed to something else? But... Activate the mission computer. No, we're not going to activate the mission computer. As you lead your team through the shadows, your companions will continue to develop and learn your combat skills. Clicking on the icon on the lower right corner of the screen will open the crew advancement menu, which was first introduced in, I think, the Dragonfall, like, special edition. One or more companions eligible to learn a new combat skill. Each advance will only choose one of two possible combat skills for your runners. Choose wisely. So I'm assuming people... Yeah. Ranged combat. Or spirit control. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. Isabel's grenade launcher can now fire remote mines. Gains the Tar Blaster program. Upgraded version of Blaster, it also sticks enemies in place. This we don't care about. This is a decking. This is gonna be a vital. There's gonna be a vital moment later where someone accidentally calls you by the wrong name, blowing your cover, and you will not notice. That's probably true. Or there's gonna be a dramatic moment where someone, like an enemy guy, shows up and is like, "Hello, real name," and it's gonna be like, "Dun dun dun." Just like, that's what. All right, so we're definitely gonna get that. You, lethal force, firepower round, single shot of incendiary ammo, additional 2 damage, it pierces up to 2 armor. Underslung beanbag, 2 AP damage and imbalances targets. Ooh, that's good. So most characters have 2 AP, right? So 2 AP damage is just a stun for a turn. So that's good. I think we get that. So the only ones I'm not really clear on is her. I don't know how often she's actually going to use spirits. but I think we take the spirit just because this one is literally just +1 ranged combat, +1 SMG, which is boring. And I'll try to remember to summon more spirits. Because I think it's the thing that they're consumable items, but the party members' consumable items like refresh every mission. You don't have to like pay for them or restock them. So I didn't realize that playing Dragonfall, I think, for a while. So like I didn't use grenades very often and stuff, but once I realized that, it's a lot, you can use them a lot more. All right, confirm. Okay, exit. All right, now we should be able to go talk to everyone. So this guy is a drone, a rigger. So that is actually not useful to us because I don't have a drone guy right now. Unless Isabel does drones? I don't think I can see, annoyingly. Can I see Isabel's stats? I don't think that she does. I think she's just a hacker. So we're gonna need a rigger. I assume we'll get a rigger. Oh, oops, I kind of clicked through that. Salesman smiles indulgently at you, a tall, lanky human of clear Cantonese ancestry. He's wearing a cheap suit and limply clutching a smelly cigarillo. He adjusts his tie with exaggerated nonchalance, languid, ostentatious, like an American casino promoter. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome to our little floating heaven. You've got a discerning look to you. What brings you to Reliable Matthew's Robot Bazaar? He tops ash over a bulky cleaning drone beside him. Not waiting for an answer, he continues. Perhaps you're looking for a hexacopter as a guide to Hong Kong, or a little handheld tarantula beauty to brew your tea. You're Reliable Matthew? That's right, Reliable Matthew Shoon at your service. Extends his hand to shake. The odors of peach-scented moisturizer and the stale tobacco smoke wash over you. How about it? Let's get down to business. Of course, though may I just say, welcome to our little patch of peace on the river. I think you'll really love Hyoy. It's just a fantastic place. Well, now that we're acquainted, maybe I can brighten up your day a bit. What's on your robot list, friend? I'm interested in your combat models. Reliable Matthew looks over his shoulder at the skirty drones, some heavily cannibalized in the center corner of the yard, turns back to you with a nervous smile. Funny you should ask. I've just gotten a Doberman that I'm selling at an incredible bargain price. Shall we take a look? Yes, let's look at the skirty drones. All of them. Oh. That's just armor? Interesting. Look at all those cool drones. Oh, a drug mule! Man, I want some drones. Alright, who's this guy? Oh, this is the monk lady? No. As you approach a small landing, you see 3 men, 2 elders, and a younger man, hunched over a go board. Juxtaposition of the 2 white-haired, white-bearded men and the black-haired man is almost comical. Together the 3 resemble the small black and white stones of their game. Sure. Despite the variety of ambient distractions, the 3 men remain acutely focused on the game. One of the elders, a round-faced man with a beatific smile, carefully picks up a black stone and places it on the board. His opponent snorts, and a small smile flashes across his long face. Almost carelessly, he snatches a white stone and deposits it on the board. The smiling man groans, and the long-faced one proceeds to collect several black pieces off the board. Ah, you got me there, Jin. He laughs, a pleasant, full sound. As it trails off, he spots you watching the game. A broad smile brightens his cheeks. Why, hello there, young woman. Something you need? The long-faced man gives you a cursory look and continues to collect black stones. Just a gawker, Shu. It's your turn. The name's Cade Wolf. That's my nickname, not my real name. Got a second to answer a question or two? Shu nods. I could use a short break. How about you, Jin? Jin sighs, shoulders slumping forward. After a moment of scowling, he reluctantly speaks. Fine, a short break. The two elders turn toward the younger man. He looks to be in his early 30s, but it's difficult to tell. The skin on his face is smooth and supple, with only a suggestion of creases at the eye, mouth, and forehead. With small gestures, a blink, a flare of the nostrils, briefly reveal the lines in his face. The man's eyes rise from the go board and study the elders. He nods. I have? Sure. I've been hearing about strange dreams here in Hyoi. Have you had any nightmares recently? Three men exchange looks. Shu turns to you. What a coincidence. It wasn't but an hour ago that we were discussing that very thing. We have been having bad dreams. Every one of us. I've had them myself. We should compare notes. What did you dream about? Is that right? Jean leans in, stares at you. Can't say I'm comfortable with giving a stranger details about my dreams. Shu waves his hand dismissively at Jin. Don't mind him. He's always been a poor sport. But he raises a good point. Some of our dreams contain information best left private. Just as yours do, I'm sure. Having just met, how can we be sure that you'll respect our personal information? I'll tell you. The younger man's voice cuts through the din like a razor, and the elders fall silent. He turns to you, and he locks on his eyes, dark orbs that burn with piercing scrutiny, onto yours. He nods, and returns his gaze to the go board. I believe you're trustworthy. Please, Kate Wolf, make yourself comfortable. I'll share my dream with you. I appreciate it. Go ahead. He exhales slowly, then begins speaking. I dreamed of a long, dingy hall. When faced with such a thing, one generally walks its length, so I lifted my right foot and placed it in front of me. Upon taking that first step, I found myself instead drawn down an alleyway to my left. I wasn't there before, this alley. It appeared only as I began to walk. As I moved down the alley, I found myself surrounded by friends and loved ones. They all stood there, silently watching me with smiles on their faces. And as I passed each of them, they fell to the ground in my wake, dropping like puppets with severed strings. Somehow I knew that if I followed this road to the end, I could have everything I'd ever dreamed of. But I woke before I could reach it. He folds his hands in his lap. There's a moment of silence before Shu speaks up, the rosiness in his cheeks having drained away. I too saw the long hall. My own experience was different, however. The hall was far off in the distance, and as I was looking down on it from a strange angle, as though I were perched on a wall high above. He pauses and looks at you. You know, young woman, you look very much like the person I saw walking that hall. She moved steadily down the path, walking at an even pace, and just behind her, a great and terrible shadow followed. Of course, I didn't have the best view up there on the wall, or wherever I was. It could have been anyone. Perhaps this old mind is seeing your face now and misremembering the dream. Lets out his chuckle, and a small flush of red returns to his cheeks. He looks over at Jin. All right, Jin, go ahead. Jin broods in his corner, arms crossed and jaws set. I've changed my mind. I don't want to share my dream. I don't think that's changing your mind. You said you didn't want to before. Nonsense. Master Lao and I have both told her our dreams. Now it's your turn. Jin sticks out his lower lip. No. It's fine. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. He holds his palm up towards you and looks at Shu. See? Straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have to. Jin. Lao's voice is firm but soft. This is important. Jin's mouth opens and closes like a gasping fish. Really? That's interesting. This is a weird dynamic. But as he looks at Lao, his body relaxes and a sadness seems to take hold of his features. Alright. Alright. Don't you go repeating any of this, you hear me? He takes in a deep breath and slowly releases it. Folds his hands in his lap. My dream began as a nightmare. I dreamed of the failures and mistakes that I've made throughout my life. The people I've let down, the competitors I've crushed, the wife who died in hospice without me. I dreamed of the family that I abandoned. Chains comes over him, his eyes brighten, and he continues energetically. But then I dreamed of the walled city. I stood before it, and its door opened to me, and when I passed inside, all of my guilt fell away. It was as though the city absolved me and washed away my guilt, and I remember feeling happy. As his remembrance ends, so does his lightened mood. His face shrinks into a pout, and as he stares grumpily at the ground. There, I did it. You happy? Lao nods slowly. Thank you, Jin. You have my thanks too. Yeah. Now could we change the subject? My ulcer's acting up. I'm guessing you've been around these parts longer than I have. Is this sort of thing normal? If it were normal, we wouldn't be huddled around discussing them in whispers, would we? Enough of that, Jin. Kate here asks for our earnest advice. She deserves a proper response. Shu gives you a gentle smile. Please forgive our friend. Bitter years have left him suspicious of others. The answer to your question is no. Upsetting dreams have never been common in Huai, but these recent have never been uncommon in Huai, but these recent visitations have been different. They've been darker, more vivid, stronger than normal dreams. Last night, I felt consumed by the sense that something was coming. All my friends here felt a sense of relief and excitement as their dreams ended. I felt as though I were sitting on the precipice of some vast and terrible chasm, with the void yawning at my feet. Suddenly his cheeks flush, he blinks twice and looks away. But perhaps these are just the ramblings of an old man. Please forgive me. He scratches his nose, embarrassed. You speak wisely, Shu. It is foolish to embrace a thing that you do not understand. What Jin and I saw in our dreams is alluring, but so is the light to a moth. Your instincts are still strong and sharp, my old friend. It is wise of you to trust them. Shu bows deeply, his eyes to the ground. Thank you. I can only hope these dreams do lead to something beautiful. There's already enough deception in the world. Jin groans loudly. Can we get back to the game now? I don't want to keep you. Of course. Stop by again sometime soon, Cade. Your company has been refreshing. Thanks. Good luck with your game. Appreciate it, young woman. We'll be seeing you. Alright. That looks like it's a magic shop. Ah, crafty Shu. A mild scent, sweet and slightly herbal, is the first thing you notice upon entering the old shop. Its quarters are cramped, made smaller by the display cases and furniture packed inside. Display cases? There don't appear to be any display cases. Nor really a lot of furniture. A little bit of furniture, though. The walls are lined with bookshelves. Again, they are not. And the tables and chairs are stacked with old tomes. That is true. A few titles jump out at you. Lucid dreaming, an exploration of the inner self. Dream logic. Nocturnal visitations. Overall, the place feels lived in, if disorganized. Not quite cluttered, but close. Milling at the front of the store is the shopkeeper, lost in a book of her own. She's tall for a human, probably close to 2 meters in height. Her physique is typical bookworm. Not overweight, but you can't see any muscular definition either. A wraparound tattoo covers her upper arms and shoulders, but from where you're standing, you can't quite make it out. She fidgets. Gradually, her eyes rise from her book and lock onto you. Welcome. Don't believe I've seen you before. She sets down her book and sweeps a strand of black and pink hair behind her ear. Name's Crafty. Cade. Nice to meet you. She shakes her hand. Her grip is surprisingly firm. So, Cade, what can I do for you? I've got spells, alchemical reagents, foci, whatever you want, really. Might have to do some digging to find it, but if it's magical, it's around here somewhere. Is this your store, or do you just work here? It's mine. I inherited it from my mom. As you can see, she generously left me all of her research journals. My words are thick with sarcasm. Mom was never a big cleaner, but neither am I. My mom used to keep spirits around that helped her manage the place. They're not here anymore, but sometimes I swear my books aren't where I placed them. Who knows? Maybe they pop by for visits. Just wish they'd clean while they were here. What's the name of the store? It's a cultural thing. 5 phases represent wood, earth, water, fire, and metal. Some people believe they're the basis of how things function and interact in this world. You'll find it practiced all throughout China, in disciplines ranging from farming to science, even music. The theory isn't common among younger generations, but it has its uses. My mother was strongly influenced by it. In fact, her sign out front is a visual representation of the cycle of 5 phases. It was an inspiration to her. She raises her shoulder in a half shrug. I just think it looks kind of neat. What makes this store so special? It's old, respectable, built over a dragon line. She slightly tilts her head to the side. You also carry texts unavailable anywhere else, but I guess for me, I'm drawn to this place by the nostalgia. You don't sound thrilled. It's a job. Can't complain. Say, Crafty, have you had any vivid dreams lately? Her face is unreadable. Her eyes long into yours. As a matter of fact, I have, Cade. We all get the occasional vivid dream. Nothing special there. Gestures to the books on the table. Really? Then why are you reading up on them? She flicks her wrist dismissively. Sure, it's a little weird that we're having them, but these types of dreams are common in the walled city. Nothing to get worked up about. Probably. They're common? Explain. She nods. Common as the cold. My mother devoted her life to researching the walled city and the magical phenomena within it, so I grew up with stories about the city. The recurrent creepy dream being one of them. I've never been inside the walled city myself, but Mom went in pretty regularly and experienced the dreams. Her mom sounds like an interesting person. Sides of her mouth dip into a shallow frown. Sure, she was interesting, but not praiseworthy. What else do you know about the walled city? Very little. Just my mother spent most of her time in there, and she shifts her weight and leans onto the counter. Well, it messed her up. Is there something specific you want to know about? What can you tell me about the city? She runs a hand through her hair, exhales. Where to begin? Walled City's always been a hellhole. It started a bad place. It's still a bad place. Crime's drawn to it like a magnet. You can't enter the city without a security guard on each elbow, but not even that will guarantee your safe passage. No one famous or rich or memorable has ever come from the place. The only thing it's known for around here is its shitty reputation. She shrugs loosely. It's about the gist of it. Now, there's a whole library here that just so happens to be the foremost location for walled city texts. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. You better believe it. She was obsessed with the walled city. Put it before everything in her life. Mom ate, slept, and breathed that city. Was something fueling her obsession? Crafty shifts her gaze to a stack of books on the nearby table. Yeah, actually. Mom was convinced something was wrong with that place, that it was cursed in some way, polluted with unnaturally bad chi. She'd visit the city under the protection of the Yellow Lotus and spend hours, sometimes days, studying it. Crafty tears her eyes away from the books and returns her gaze to you. Mother was consumed by her research. Did she ever find anything? She sure tried. Mom thought she could find a way to purify the place and to exorcise its demons. Her obsession with the walled city grew, and she devoted more and more of her life to breaking its curse. Wish I could say she fell off the radar, but really, the rest of the world fell off hers. I'm sorry. Must have been hard for you. It is what it is, and here I am. Crafty gives you a warm smile. Sounds to me like you don't believe in your mother's research. You can see Crafty studying you. She exhales through her nose, and it seems as if she's considering something. I know we've just met, Cade, but you have a generous ear. I don't mind discussing my mother with you as long as we keep the details between us. Yeah, I just have a generous ear. Mother's research was stupid. Just plain stupid. She wasn't stupid herself. No, Mom was very bright, but her obsession was downright unhealthy. Anyone could see that. The walled city is a toxic place, home to dark spirits and astral influence, but Mom believed in a singular curse at the heart of the place. How did you two fall out? My mother failed to change the walled city, and the time she spent inside there changed her. She grew sickly and became moody, irritable. She suffered from night terrors the rest of her life. Crafty languidly sweeps a small clump of dust off a nearby book. It must have been difficult to watch her decline like that. She points a finger at you. It wasn't just that. The breaking point for me was her ridiculous obsession. I refused to indulge her, and it drove a wedge between us. Neither of us were willing to relent. A small, bitter laugh escapes her throat. Guess we had that in common. Stubborn till the end. So after Mom died, I turned my back on her work and left the walled city and its people themselves. It's a toxic site, beyond rehabilitation. I do my best to ignore it. Her posture breaks for a second, and you can see Crafty shift nervously behind the counter. At least, I've tried. Now that these dreams, these nightmares, are leaking out of the walled city, I wonder if I can still ignore it. We always have a choice. You're right, but not everyone's choices are weighted evenly, and I don't think I can turn a blind eye to what's happening here. She loosely gestures to the bookshelves all over the shop. I have my mother's journals. I have the means to try to help, to dredge up bad memories, but if it'll help my friends, maybe it'll be worth it. I don't know. I guess I have a lot to think about. She crosses her arms and wraps her fingers against her skin. Anyway, thanks for lending me that ear of yours. I've been thinking about the dreams. Can I ask you something? Why do you think they're affecting people outside the walled city? It's definitely strange. Until now, I always thought the dreams were nonsense, that my mother just had night terrors because of her madness. She props up her chin off the right hand. But now it's really happening, not just to me, to others around Yoi. The same psychic forces that drove Mom insane are edging into our subconscious. Lately, I've been wondering if there might have been something to her ravings. Maybe. I've been skeptical for so long it feels almost blasphemous to consider it. Maybe the walled city's curse is real. She rubs her hand down her face, obviously frustrated. I just don't know. Maybe you can learn something from your mother's journals. That's true, but my mother's notes are scattered all over the shop. Most of her research is scrawled in the margins of the books that you see on the shelves and piles and stacks all over. The clues we need to figure this out could be in any of one of the volumes, and there are thousands of them. But with the dream's reach spreading, can you really afford to let all this knowledge just sit here? She sighs, straightens up. Yeah, I know what I have to do. It's just, damn. Look at them all. She tiredly looks down at the book she was reading earlier. Guess I won't be finishing this one anytime soon. Alright, Cade. I'm gonna get started. Now. It'll take time. House of Five Phases is jammed from floor to ceiling with books. Any one of them could hold valuable information. Check in once in a while and I'll share my findings with you. You're doing the right thing. I'll do what I can, too. Thanks. I appreciate that. Tell me about yourself? I'm not sure where to start. What do you want to know? Is Crafty really your first name? No. A wave of nostalgia seems to pull her gaze toward the shop's front window. The name started out as a joke, actually. Back home, my mom used to call me Crafty, since the meaning is similar to my given name. I liked it because of the way it sounds. I insisted that my family call me Crafty, so it became a sort of nickname around the house. When I got older and started school in Hong Kong, I made my mom register me as Crafty, and it stuck. So what's your given name? Meow. She raises her hand to prevent me from replying, yes, like a cat. You foreigners always make the same joke, which is why I grew up hating Meow. Call me Crafty. Your mother sounds like quite the mage. Did you study magic too? I sure did. Natural predisposition. She flexes her arm. Or whatever. But Mom and I learned the craft differently. I went to a university and she was book taught. Mom was very old school. Magic wasn't as applicable to everyday situations. It was rooted in superstitions. It still worked, and well, but only for more ritualistic ancient spells. Practical spells like rain shields and bottomless trash cans were outside her repertoire. Bottomless trash cans? Where do they go? I like to see her wares. Alright, so I do want to get... Okay, so I guess all the armor, at least the basic armor, is just armor 3, which lets you have more fashion, because in Dragonfall it was like they gave skill bonuses, so you kind of had specific ones that you just got the one at the shop for your main specialty. Spellcasting. Well, that's cool. Ooh, cool. I don't know if that's useful. That's cool. Well, it's not good. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but it seems kind of a waste. Interesting. I think you don't have enough slots for stuff like that, though. That seems... Oh, you could do it every turn as cooldown 0, but... Well, you can do it twice a turn if you want to, but that still seems kind of bad. Oh no. I guess you can't do it twice a turn, because the aim also has cooldown 0. I'm pretty sure you can't use aim twice. Monobolt. Monobolt, 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 monobolt. +1 willpower, +1 charisma. Yeah, these are consumed when used. Alright. We will probably come back and buy more stuff. All this talking about dreams is doing a good job making me sleepy. Alright, good night, Daimon. Yeah, did you enjoy that we had a whole, like, conversation, like, that was felt like it should have been between multiple mission visits to get her to that point, but she's like, nope, she trusts us. Just have that generous ear. Well, this is the... Despite the wind and rain pelting Hyoi, the proprietor of this stall, the monk, judging by their outfit, is unconcerned. The monk's expression is indifferent, though hardly placid or serene. Muscles show as tightly wound metal bands beneath the skin, ready to snap in any direction without warning. What's more, the monk's robes are anything but ordinary. Certainly silk makes up the base outfit, but it's paired with high-impact ballistic armor, heavy-duty boots, and a bandolier of throwing knives. The table in front of you is arrayed with a wide variety of melee weapons, charms, jade pendants, and other mystical accoutrements. Beneath an awning in the rear are rows upon rows of cages, each housing some variety of exotic reptile or insect. These in turn are flanked by jars and boxes of Chinese herbs, incense, powders, and inks. The monk spares you only the shortest of glances as you approach. I am Monk Shen. Most people in Hyoi call me Spider Shen, on account of the spiders back there. You're not local, not by a long shot. It's definitely a statement, not a question. Yeah? What about it? She shrugs and swings an open palm across the table in front of you. So, you probably have more reason to buy something than my neighbors, and I'm here to sell, so that's good. Swords, knives, clubs, I sell it all. I make most of these, but if I can't, I've got friends who can. If you need incense or salves for meditation, I make and sell those too, and if your joints ache, I can give you acupuncture. Shen places both palms on the table, leaning over it towards you with a wicked grin. What can I show you? You sell the snakes and spiders too? Shen shakes a finger. Shen shakes a finger at you, eyes narrowed. No, they're mine. I can sell you the things I craft with my hands, or the things I can do, but the medicines and poisons I make are my secret. You want those? You apprentice to me. In 5 years, maybe I show you how to make a poultice, eh? They're that secret? Of course they're secret. These are what set me apart from the rest of the street dealers in Hyoi. If you want cram or bliss, any 2-bit triad punk can make that for you. But I can realign your chi, set your yin and yang in balance, or set somebody else's out of balance, with a few drops. To master my skills, you need to learn for years. It's not just following a formula. You want to learn, you need patience. Try to learn without patience, all you do is ape the masters. She snaps 2 fingers and points at the cages. You have to understand them to truly learn my art. Otherwise, you never become a master. Might as well get a skill soft. So you're a monk and a weapons dealer. She slowly raises an eyebrow, arms folded. Yeah. Where else would the ancient masters have gotten their legendary swords and spears? Down at the mall? I was at Wudang Mountain for 15 years before coming back to Hong Kong. I've been practicing Xing Yi Quan my entire life. That's how I learned the herbs as well as the forms. Just so happens I'm good at a forge too. That's why what you buy here is better than most people's. What's Xing Yi Quan? She strikes a sudden pose, body low, one fist against a hip, while the other is extended in open palm. The 5-element fist style. Water grows wood, which burns to become fire. Fire creates ash and earth, which condenses into metal, etc. The forms cycle of 5 elements, and opposing elements block each other. A water fist will break a wooden defense, but a water block will extinguish fire. Should one use a fire interception on a metal fist, however, water will be smashed apart. Direct, simple, powerful. Not so elegant as Baji Quan or Tai Chi, but much more powerful. Shen pulls a tarp away from a nearby lump. The object beneath the tarp is revealed as the door to an Ares City Master armored personnel carrier. It's been caved inward by a massive amount of force, and in the dead center of the door is an indentation into which Shen's fist would fit perfectly. Power comes from focus, and focus comes from practice and meditation. Xing Yi Quan produces more power than most other forms of Kung Fu. Is that what they are? And applies it in a highly focused way. So why become a weapons dealer out here? I was a runaway, street orphan in Aberdeen. Aberdeen? One day an old man who called himself Woe offered to take me in. Let me make something of myself as long as I worked hard. Nothing in this life is free, friend. Not even Grandfather Woe's help. So I work for him now. Sounds like he's part of a triad. Shen's eyes roll at this. Obviously. Think I'm in Kindly's little haven for no reason? She and Grandfather Woe are on good terms. I don't get in her way, I pay a cut to her, and everybody's happy. Even Woe, because I solve problems for him. She raised a balled fist, which suddenly burst into blue flame. After a moment, it gutters. Gutters? Sputters, maybe? And goes out. Remember that, if anyone ever gives you something for free. In Hyoi, you pay it back with money or blood, but you pay it back regardless. Let me take a look at your wares. Not that I'm going to use any of this, but... Mana Fist. Killing Hands. Interesting. Interesting that there's like passive spells. I'm gonna go grab some water. Let's go talk to that guy again, but I'll be right back. Like most troll bouncers, this man is... Oh, excuse me. This man is knotted with muscles, but absent are the myriad scars that come with age or indiscretion. His only blemishes are the bony skin growths common to his kind, and a single deep scar across his neck and collarbone. Ugh. You watch yourself in here, or else we check your aerodynamics. I know what that means. It means he's gonna throw me out. Really? I can't just say okay. I'm really confused by what's... Oh, I see there's like this weird circle here. I thought this was on his head. Like something, but no, that's just the background. Aerodynamics. Anyone causes trouble, I see how far I can throw them. No fighting, no killing, no sex trade. He lifts an arm, flexing. His muscles jump out like a mass of serpents and steel cabling. His arm is easily as thick as most humans' waists. I don't mess around. That's fine. I don't know that we need to go in there right now. We'll go in there, but I want to talk to Maximum Law. Overhead, a gigantic hollow sign shines like a searchlight, screaming its message through the dim light. It hums and flickers, sputtering like an old engine. Fierce electrical crackles sporadically burst out of the sign's emitter, stabbing your eyes and filling your ears with static. Under the baleful glare of the sign, the rusty mini-barge's deck is stacked with electronics. Dilapidated stereos share space with crisply boxed servers. Ranks of disks and memory chips fill display cases padlocked under plexiglass. A short human in his late 20s stands in the middle, hands on his hips, talking loudly into the air. Bulky virtual reality goggles cover his eyes. A data jack cable runs from his temple, down his stained t-shirt, to a beltload of clearly home-built computer hardware. No, I'm telling you, his voice is shrill, clipped. Nobody uses KM3s. Like, nobody. They're shit. I don't care what Dank says. If Shiawaze SRP uses KM3s, they're stupid. Hey, flesh is rolling up. I gotta go. Turns to face you, goggles blank and enigmatic, blinking with tiny lights wrapped in duct tape. He points at your PDA. I ripped that PDA. You work for kindly. His lip works impatiently. Yo, what do you want? You provided this PDA? Tell me about it. It was a Fuji Azura Star 3. They use a Scarab chip, which is good, but the motherboard is wet noodles and sprouts. I pulled up the trackers and installed encryption. Now it runs on the Wampoa virtual network. The corpse and cops can't crack it, can't track it. Nice work. Shrugs dismissively. That's what we do. This is Law's Technology Palace, satellite territory of Wampoa. You step on the boat, you're in a sovereign state. I represent Wampoa here. I'm Maximum Law. He draws himself up proudly, setting his hands on his hips. The Maximum Law, yo. You got a tech problem? Boom, I solved it. You need software? Boom, done. Don't waste my time. So you got any business in Wampoa right now? If not, keep moving. Oh, that is an amazingly ostentatious hollow sign you got. Yo, Maximum Law looks up at the gigantic blue-white left letters with deep satisfaction. It's pretty, boss. That must cost you a small fortune in electricity. Whatever. I'm not paying for it. Half of Hioi gets his juice from a pirate tap on a big Mitsuhama DC cable under the river. Mitsuhama's like... His voice winds up into a mocking whine. Oh, let's run 2 million volts from a cold fusion plant to the island, under the river. Those some monkeys can't tap an underwater cable. Idiots. You know who built the tap that pulls electricity off the cable? Wampoa. You know whose barge holds the transformer? Mine. Maximum Law thrusts his fist high in the air in silent victory. Cheap power for all and a whole lot of extra for me. Behold the lighthouse of Boom. Looks like you got some dangerously exposed wires over there. Yo, what? Are you my mother? Law regards you with skeptical disgust. Those wires are fine where they are, high and dry. The only problem for someone who does something stupid. I'm running a high bandwidth tech operation. Do I look like I have time to tape copper and sip tea? No, I don't. Law wraps his knuckles fiercely on clear-topped case-filled buses, cables, and cable harnesses. These are the only wires you need to think about. I found this while poking around in the walled city. Worth anything? He scans the chip's casing with a handheld optic scanner. Yo, that shit is banned. Lifted off some Yellow Lotus. They traffic this stuff. Delimited SIM chips, full sensor experiences. You looking for a buyer? I can make it happen. How's 120 new yen sound? Sure. I doubt it's going to get anything. I mean, maybe there's some other use for it, but... Well, yeah, I'll sample it first. But those cat odds can send you for a trip. Don't worry, I can handle my sims. I'm here for tech. So, I do need a cyber deck, but maybe not yet? Because... So my thought is, I don't have any programs either for my cyber deck, so that's like an issue. My thought is I don't necessarily need a cyber deck yet, because I believe for this next mission we're going to have 4 people. We're not going to be limited like the last one, and the only people we're going to be able to take are the people we have. We only have 3 people. plus PC. Which means we are gonna have to take Isabel, and she's a decker, so I don't think I need um, a deck right yet. Technically, I should get armor though. But boom, another problem solved by Law's Technology Palace. Um, so like, if I don't need one right now, but I will need one later, maybe I just save because I might be able to buy something worth more. So this is the medical place. Chrome Alley. Press the buzzer. It's a crackle of static, then a brusque voice answers. What do you want? The voice is Cantonese precise, but the accent sounds American. Is this a medical clinic? No, it's a chicken factory. What do you want? I'm looking for a medical clinic. Yeah, that's me. Listen, lady, I don't know you. I don't like people I don't know. Who sent you? Kindly will vouch for me. Yeah? Just idle your engine there for a minute, and I'll check on that. There's a long silence on the intercom. The door gives several heavy metallic clicks. There's a dull rumble like heavy bolts sliding back. Green light flashes on the terminal. The door appears to be unlocked. You can enter the clinic. Alright. Ooh. Is this a clinic or a factory? The clinic looks like it just hosted a party. Spindly mechanical arms swing from unobtrusive wall mounts, pulling down crepe, I don't remember how to pronounce that, paper ribbons, and scooping food platters and empty beer bottles into biohazard bags. A severely crippled Caucasian man sits in a wheelchair amidst a maelstrom of mess and robotics. He's in his 40s, thick beard, tungsten earrings, beer belly, one cyber eye. Both his legs are missing, one at the hip, the other at the knee. He has only one arm, and only 3 fingers remaining on his surviving hand. His face and arms show the scars of reconstructive surgery. He grins widely at you, regarding you with bloodshot eyes. He's clearly hungover. Hey, I'm Ambrose. He shouts cheerfully in English, his words piling together in a loose Midwestern accent. They call me Ten Arms. Welcome to the Kong, fellow Eucassian. He chuckles, his chest shaking with mirth. A Waldo arm springs to life and swings over to him. Its menacing metal pincher momentarily sets a cigarette between his lips, just long enough for him to inhale from it. He kindly says you're alright. What can I do for you? You're a doctor? Sure am. I'm a rigger doctor. A rockter! Ambrose bursts into laughter, then stops and clutches his head. Oh, I cannot laugh hard today. Too much partying last night. It hurts. I'm not board certified, but don't worry, I should be. I'm full-on skilled. My work's Yellow Lotus guaranteed and precisely in accordance with World Medical Association standards. Everybody in Huey comes to me, because I'm the only option. Ambrose chuckles delightfully. Very well, Rockter. Right on. Let's get you tricked out. Unless you just want to bullshit, which I'm down for too. Your front door can stop a bulldozer. Why so fortified? Are you kidding? Have you any idea how much all this stuff in here is worth? This is a high capital operation, and life's dangerous for a guy missing most of his members, tooling up smugglers and criminals. Let me tell you what, though. Someone bursts in here, they're gonna be in a world of hurt. Ambrose chuckles evilly. There's a lot more than pipes and wires up in the false ceiling, and I've got Kindly's crew and the Club 88 boys on the panic button. They know which side their bread is crumbed on. What, you thinking of trying to knock me over? He laughs uproariously, but it's not clear if he's kidding. Show me your services. Sure thing. Tune-up or spare parts? Alright. Oh, so cyberware affinity is required for expensive cyberware now. Okay. Oh, and you get like 2 slots for some things? Maybe? You get a cyber weapon. Hand razors. Yeah, you can be a real razor girl. I mean, they're good. But I guess they better be. Those don't actually seem as good. I mean, it does more damage. 1 point, but... Well, except these do 2 bleeding damage, so like... Yeah. I guess they cost less essence somehow. The electro furnace room has been built out as a medical clinic and a machine shop. The air is alive with the rumble of the furnaces and the hum of the cooling fans. It's sweltering. The front area is more like a homey coffee house than a clinic lobby. Cupped rolled furniture, used digipads, coloring books. The wall opposite the boilers is cluttered with mixtures of photos and prints, local artists' work, images of military vehicles, off-road racing, Rube Goldberg machines, personal photos, old-time Chicago gangsters, the Desert Wars Motorized Combat Division. Glance around the clinic space. The work area looks more like a machine shop than a medical theater. Roboticized operating table and a hydraulic lift supporting a partly disassembled V8 engine occupy places of equal importance against the north and south walls. Prosthetic limbs are racked overhead like machine parts. A heavy lift hoist is clamped to an I-beam. An impressive home-built computer sits against the far wall. Several bulkier towers sit under the desk, fans whirring. It looks more like a sysadmin Decker's server station than a doctor's terminal. The floors are scuffed concrete, stained with grease and old blood. Faint odors of ammonia, gasoline, and antiseptic mingle in the air. A large sign on the back wall reads, "Sanitary space. No spitting." Inspect the personal photos. Pictures are mostly of Huey residents, holidays, and parties. 10 armed Ambroses in many of them. The vast scope of photos suggests that Ambrose must be acquainted with almost everyone in Huey. The impressive home-built computer is running multiple large memory units and processors. Chilled air from its active cooling system washes over you to the whir fans. A thin fiber optic cable runs across the floor to Ambrose in his chair. On the wall behind the computer are miscellaneous decorations, notes, and photos. 2 items stand out, a large dry erase calendar and a corkboard plastered with printouts. Look at the calendar. The dry erase calendar is cluttered with a relentless storm of commitments written in cramped, sloppy Hanzi. Most appear to be medical appointments with patients, followed by a busy list of social engagements. Closer scrutiny reveals others. A basic mechanics class on Wednesday nights, basic computer coding, Sunday afternoons. Before both of these, inked in red marker is, "Prepare lesson plan, you stupid idiot." Holidays. Big combat auto races, birthdays. Every Sunday until 4 p.m. is simply labeled engine. Only 5 hours a night are allocated to sleep, but large swaths of time are conspicuously labeled hangover. Examine the corkboard printouts. News clippings and BBS posts have been printed, carefully snipped, and pinned in place. Most are less than a year old. They're intermixed with grainy photographs of what looks like a devastated city, Chicago. The news articles describing an outbreak of a virulent version of the Vitus plague in the city and subsequent quarantine of a zone containing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. The newest items are plain text bulletin board postings printed out. The fact that they're from so crude a site is strange. Very, very few Matrix sites are so plain. Oh, I mean, we know what the event is, and we know where they're from. We just haven't seen it yet. Examine the posting. I mean, I assume the event is when Chicago is cut off and then nuked due to invasion of bugs, spirit bugs from another dimension. It's the whole thing. Files smuggled out from within the containment zone. They describe a cover-up, the detonation of a small nuclear weapon, and the catastrophic release of inspectors into the city. The current conditions, as reported by drones and escapees, are horrific. Yep. Try to force the source pronounced. The postings are from a civil bulletin board system, such as would usually be used only when bandwidth is at a premium or data has to be sent long distances, like thousands of kilometers. Really? That's... no. That part doesn't matter. You can pick out some recurring statements that seem to refer to the venue. The BBS, Shadowland. The primary moderator looks like someone named Captain Chaos? These postings are probably from the North American Dark Matrix site that operates out of the Denver Dark Data Haven, the so-called Shadowland. The Shadowland, supposedly the global mothership of Matrix Havens for Shadowrunners. Okay. I suppose I can ask him about any of that. Nope. Let's go into the club. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Okay. Launch trolls. Better groomed than most of his kind, the young troll nonetheless ruins the effort with his own blatant drunkenness. His eyes are red and expression foggy, but he otherwise appears to be high functioning. Have a drink, friend. Have two. Then maybe something else to chase it, eh? Not while I'm on the job. You should have my job then. I'm Prince of Club 88. Chosen, you might say. Part of the family that owns this place. You are a shrewd one, my friend. I am the heir apparent, and my birthright to peddle chems to every sniffer that passes through our gates. What do you say? Need someone to pick you up? Or bring you down? Can you tell me what I might find around here? Not a hell of a lot, but I suppose it depends on what you're in the market for. I'm your man for chemistry. My ma offers an assortment of firearms in the back. Everything else here is just glitter and smoke. If you're looking for tech, Lost Place sells all the techno baubles you could ask for. Just walk towards the giant blue hollow sign that gives everyone a headache. Out further on the same dock, Reliable Matthew is your basic used drone salesman. He's the only game in town for that sort of stuff. If you're needing magical whatsits, try the Parlor of 5 Phases. I haven't a clue about that stuff myself, but those places certainly smell legit from the street. Better off staying here though. I can set you up with an ampule of something really smooth. Oh, look at all that bad shit. There's only one way to describe the troll haunting the back of Club 88. Weathered. It's as if the man has been carved from granite and then battered by the crafts of waves and salty winds over the course of decades. Welcome to Club 88. No killing, no fighting, no sex trade. I can respect that. I'm Henry Cafe. I suppose I own this place. If you're looking for guns, speak to my wife. And if you're looking for farmers, speak to my son Callum. If you're looking for trouble, you'll be seeing my son Frederick. Briefly. I mean, he looks like he should be the bartender, but I guess that's, Oh, look at that. Well, that's not intimidating. The older troll woman has a striking Amazonian quality. When she was younger, she must have really turned heads. Can I help you? You in charge here? And don't you forget it. This is my family's place. Me, my husband, and our 2 boys. Now, do you have business with me? I have no time for window shoppers. Firearms from all over the world. From Ares to Walther and everything in between. You in the market? So this is just your actual gun shop. This is the gun show. The real gun show. And I would love to get a gun for... Yeah, I would really like a sniper. I just don't know that Duncan can really use it. And we have the issue of come back anytime. Anything else you need? What can you tell me about Yoi? There's only one thing you need to know. The corporations don't rule Yoi. We're under kindly Chang's Bella, and her yellow shoulders lotus soldiers protect the docks and maintain the peace. But we're not triad members, and they don't own us. Hyoi is a crossroads, where goods change hands and deals are made. Kindly makes the market, but we, the families, make it happen. Our mind speaks with the pride of a woman who bows politely to great powers, but never prostrates herself before them. Families rebuilt this place when it was left to rot. Strong families, like mine, and we protect our own. Outsiders and corps know that tangling with Hyoi is more trouble than we are worth. The triads know it's better to work with us than against us. And now you know these things as well. You would do well to remember them. Now, are you looking to buy? So it's a little more condensed, I think, than the Quartz Bazaar, which is fine. Maybe it's not? I don't know. I guess it's not. Like, the map doesn't... it does maybe a little smaller. Oh, we can go down to the hatch now and talk to what's-his-face. The other dude. Oh, is he? That's him. Is he a rigger? It's oppressively hot down here. The air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. The quicksand of the room tells you why. Downstairs tenant has converted this space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and duroplastic extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceilings. A man in a black trench coat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. Please stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment. Unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Thanks for the warning. Don't mention it. I have no interest in seeing anyone hurt in my shop, especially not my upstairs neighbor. The feed on the monitor looks like some sort of design software. You can see what appears to be a slim, spidery appendage in orthographic and perspective views. It's Doc Ock! Very good, yes, it's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed. He turns towards you, smiling. For the first time you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. So sorry to have kept you waiting, Miss... Wolf. Cade Wolf. So is that my real name? Fuck, we don't know! Cade Wolf. It's no problem, don't worry about it. You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for... His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts and his tone goes apologetic. Please don't mind the drone. He can be territorial. But as long as you remain civil, he will not bite. It extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Ractor, my mechanical counterpart, is called Koshai. Slap him 5! Sup? I will shake his hand. A pleasure. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. Very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Hyoi, it's important to be on good terms with its neighbors. Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions if you have the time. He glances at the bracer on his forearm. Technical display winks to life, then gutters out. Very well. Morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes left. Time enough to talk. You said this morning's casting. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. Casting I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshai. Just as a display above the work table. A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean. The mangrove crab, to be specific. That's fascinating. Will this new leg assembly make your drone more effective? That remains to be seen. But there's more to life than combat effectiveness, is there not? By fabricating new components for Koshai, I unlock options, different ways of being. Even the failures, and there have been many, have value in this context. How did you learn to do all this? More training and experience than I care to mention. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see. Now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Are you Russian? Thought I caught a hint of an accent there. He nods. You have a good ear, I'm impressed. I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod, went to school there, started my career there in the industrial sector. Fairly common story, I'm sure. But I've also traveled a great deal, and in so doing I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese? 15. Shrugs apologetically. Shames me to admit that I'm only illiterate in 12, however. You're either too hard on yourself, or acting ashamed to cover up the fact that you're bragging. He brows furrows. Koshai takes a step forward. I assure you, I'm not bragging. In truth, I've never much cared what anyone else thought of my abilities or my accomplishments. I'm quite as self-sufficient in that regard. If I tell you that I feel ashamed, it's because I do. When knowledge eludes me, I take it poorly. Shoulders relax, and Koshai adopts the same posture. The curse of perfectionism, I suppose. Koshai is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. I nod to my heritage, I suppose. What's the fairy tale about? A thoroughly unpleasant person. Koshai the Deathless, he was called, and for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside of his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. Koshai was a villain and a notorious kidnapper of women, but something about him always stuck with me. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. And is your drone deathless, like its namesake? In a manner of speaking, I suppose that he is. I've redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process. Must confess it was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koshai will become as deathless as the stories claim. But it will not be today. You got some interesting machinery in here, not the kind that you typically see outside of corporate settings. He smiles. Same could be said of many in Hioe, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you out of curiosity? Well, I'm mostly interested in that drone. Koshai, my friend, you are wrong. You will never find anything like his in any corporate factory or lab. He is mine, my own creation, from the top of his sensor cluster to the tips of his claws. I designed him, fabricated his components, and built him by hand. He shrugs. No more so than anyone else who follows his passions and perfects his craft. You said you wished to work for a corp. Whose payroll were you on? He sighs. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for Grishin Aviakor, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. Keeping all this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised how lucrative such work can be, and there's always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. You said that you did other work besides consulting. Care to tell me what kind? He pauses, and for a second something flashes in his eye. Koshai lowers its body into a crouch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe, but then we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even in personal conversations, certain topics can be off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit end of the spectrum. Tell you what, I'm just gonna guess. You're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? Gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes. I run the shadows! God, we need to like run the shadows counter anytime someone says it. What gave me away? Design consultants live in apartments in Victoria Harbor. Living in a rusted-out boat in Nioi. There's got to be a reason for that. He shrugs. You're correct, of course. The residents of shadow communities are usually either too poor to live elsewhere, or engage in behaviors too illicit to risk it. I will admit to being in the latter camp. Designing robotics is my passion, but it doesn't always pay the bills. He runs a hand over Kushai's armored chassis, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. My status as a foreigner has proven something of an impediment in this regard. And so, sorry as may be to say it, the lion's share of my income flows from Koshai's aptitude for butchery. Such is life, I suppose. We do what we must do to what we love. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Runs the shadows? Why not pool our resources and work together? Purses his lips, considering. Compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit that there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I'm not a decker. My strength comes from material objects in the real world. Solid things. With mass and heft, things I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. Yes, we have a shaman and a decker, both competent at their jobs. And me! In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, we will continue. If not, I will bid you farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard. I got my rigger, which means I can go buy a cyber deck because Isabel's out. Very good. Excellent. When you receive a job, you know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. I'll be in touch. Looking forward to working with you. And I with you. Sweet. Oh, I guess that's just his living quarters. So let's see. Is there gonna be like... Okay. Wu's cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the Bolto. His equipment is neatly laid out in his bedding, grouped by type and arranged just so. Oh my god, look at his folded shirts. That's pretty good. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Something on your mind? Gun show? Wu holds up a palm. Don't. Just don't. When we're alone, it's either Wu or Duncan. Gun show doesn't live here. Wu looks down the barrel of his gun and brushes off some dirt. And yeah, there's plenty on my mind. That's why I'm doing equipment maintenance. Discipline of it helps me focus, process. What about you? You look like you want to talk about something. I can't get that dream I had out of my head. You said you had one too, right? Yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by a run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Gives you a lopsided grin. Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum and a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course we dreamed about it. The feeling I had there stayed with me. It felt thick, heavy. I've got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. Did it feel any different from other nightmares you've had? Takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him? Kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light. When I woke up, I was out of breath from the effort. What do you remember? Just little snatches of things. Puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere, and there was a tunnel that was so bright I had to shut my eyes, and Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down, I can't remember. but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. The sound of my father crying. Let's talk about something else! Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What is there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary, hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the corps need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. Yeah, before you were doing the dirty jobs that the cops wanted on the books. You seem to be taking to it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said you had nothing back home, and that's why you were cool with being a runner. Was that true? Let's say no. No. That's just what I told kindly. Then what's the real reason? Oh, these are the same things. Okay. Okay, so I guess this is your ability to re-choose from that list, but I don't really, Alright, I think this is closest to what I'm probably thinking. I'm running the shadows until we find out who killed Raymond, and then someone's gonna pay. Be careful taking the road to revenge, Cade. Usually ends as 2 grave sites. That's what they say, Duncan. That's the saying. I need to understand what happened to him and who's responsible. I need justice. What's your opinion of kindly Chang? I'd say she's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody. That guy's definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens. Plenty more since I joined Lone Star. That guy's the real deal. Not sure if he even knows what the word remorse means. You should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. Uh-huh. I can see that. What about this plastic-faced man? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me. Even well-dressed, creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the shit I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. Just want to know who he is and who he works for. I want to talk about Raymond. Oh. Let's talk about Gobbett and Isabel. They seem competent, considering how young they are, but then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they're pretty young. The 3 of us work together well in the walled city. Based on that, I bet the 4 of us would make a solid crew. And Gobbett talks to rats. She's a rat shaman, Kate. Of course she talks to rats. Remember that guy in the Barrens, Joey D? Small-time BTL guy, lived at the Royale Apartments? He had a skunk shaman working guard duty for him. Covered him when he slept. Guess he figured that no matter what, the stink would wake him up. Skunk shaman, huh? Yeah, swore the stink would protect him from predators. Heard he got clipped a couple of years ago. Moved up a bunch in the BTL biz, broadened his market, took over the Royale, grabbed the penthouse apartment for himself. Heard he ran afoul with some runner, took apart his whole crew. Heard he traded in his skunk shaman for a hellhound. Bad move, I guess. I'm assuming this is because this is Seattle, right? you're talking about. So I'm assuming this is a Shadowrun Returns thing. I don't remember it at all. Because it's a long time ago when I played that game, but... I'll talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. I guess I didn't get his opinion on Isabel. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? Sounds like he had unfinished business and needed to take care of before. It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? I don't know. Yeah, me either. Just something to think about. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond Cade. Taught us what he wanted to teach us, told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. What do you think's going on with him? I don't know, Cade. He's clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners from Triad bosses. Raymond was smart. Smart as hell. I'm sure he had a reason for using Kindly Cheng as a fixer. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam, and it's rack time for me. You should do the same, Cade. A couple hundred push-ups will do you good. I don't think so, Duncan. But hey, knock yourself out. He shrugs. Your loss. Talk to you later. I like the idea of, like, nah, I'm not the physical type. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Living space is utterly dominated by an enormous, jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. I think I could borrow a cyberdeck from her. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. You got a second? There's a long pause, then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of the obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. That's quite a machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. An absolute beast. What is this thing made of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Law's dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the walled city, but out here people throw it away. She chuckles herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out huge amounts of new yen in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. Why? Because I can have 5 last year's model for a quarter the price of that new new cyberdeck, and after I finish daisy chaining them together, the machine that I've built will run circles around your hot new deck. Well, yeah, and you'll need a flatbed truck to carry it. Do we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory, disappears into the deck that she's working on. You've got a whole boat to work with, your cabin included if I told Gabbett I needed it. Well, be my guest, I wouldn't mind. Long pause. Huh. Well, I was joking, but if you're really okay with it, I might someday. We'll see. Yeah, but you're going into combat with a deck. But maybe that's why we're going to leave her here. What about your portable gear, your cyberdeck software, that kind of thing? It gets the job done. Might not be top of the line, but I'm comfortable using it in the field. If you should happen to come across any more advanced hardware or software, either on the job or on the discount rack at Law's Technopalace, I'm not above taking donations, but barring that, I'm fine with using what I've got. Your call. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Body goes still. Yes, I think everyone has. Me too. Been having horrible nightmares. I know. It happens more often than you'd think. She tilted her head in the direction of the walled city. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everybody got it. Mass psychosis? Seems more like magical phenomenon to me. Or what is it? What's causing it? I don't know. Slowly she begins rummaging through the gutsy obsolete cyberdeck again. I don't think I want to. Can we talk about the ambush with Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Sorry. Didn't mean to pry. You don't have to apologize. Just change the subject. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. You don't like talking about things other than your computer very much, do you? There's a long pause before she responds. When she does, she sounds vaguely hurt. I prefer not to. Nothing personal. It's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with. Don't you? Yes. You're still a mystery to me. There's a long pause. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. She turns, gives you her full attention. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a question. Something personal. After you give me an answer, you get to ask me a question. Think of it like a game of questions. We take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal. You go first. Ask away. She studies your face. We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think about Duncan. He can be a pain in the ass, but he's like a brother to me. Interesting. Her eyes fit to the doorway of Gobbet's cabin. The corner of her mouth tilts upward into a slight smile. And a little familiar. Well, you answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. How did you and Gobbet meet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids in the walled city. My prison was her playground. You okay, Isabel? Of course I'm okay. I'm fine. She shifts her gaze back to the octopus. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that would make it my turn. She pauses, considering. So tell me, what was your connection to Roman Black? He was like a father to me and Duncan. He got us out of the Barrens. In that case, I'm sorry for your loss. Losing the ones that you love is hard. Your turn. Ask me a question, and I'll give you an answer. Where did you learn to deck? The Wampoa. I lived there for a while after escaping the walled city. People there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. And that brings us back to my turn. She gestures at the cabin walls around you. You enjoy it, don't you? Living like this, working in the shadows. Yeah. I mean, Raymond Black was wrong. This is what I was born to do. She nods slowly. I knew it. I could read it all over you. Your turn again. Go ahead, ask me something. You grew up in the walled city, right? Tell me about that. She fidgets. I'd rather not talk about it. Ask me something else. Alright, I'll drop it. Give me a second. Of course, thank you. How long have you been running the shadows with Gobbit? Running the shadows? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now? Decent stretch by anyone's reckoning. My turn again. Her head tilts as she studies your face, and I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned, you and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation, keeps going on about the things he left behind. But what about you? Is there anything you want to get back to? Yeah, I left something important behind. My entire life. You still got a life. Might not be the one that you want, but you got it. Considering what went down at the docks, not saying something. She glances down at the clock on her desk, an antique model with physical hands that looks like it was wrenched out of a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit, it's even later than I thought. I've still got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. She begins to turn away, her attention fixed on the stack of partially disassembled cyberdecks right in front of her. Aren't you forgetting something? She stops in place, fidgets. If you've got another question, go ahead and ask, but be quick about it. I know that you don't want to talk about your childhood, but I need to learn more about the walled city. Her voice goes cold. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted to go in there, and somebody destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. Her cheeks flush just like they did last time. She averts her eyes. No. I'm sorry, but no. Later, maybe. But not now. Alright, Isabel. Next time. Blinking, she turns away and buries herself in the octopus's splayed innards. Please excuse me. I have work to do. Gobbit? Hello. Gobbit's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground, an overflowing garbage bin surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbed back to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. Feels a lot like an art school dorm room. Gobbit reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food. Chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored microprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbit slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, yes, Seattle. She chews on the words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. Corner of her mouth curls up into a half smile. How's tricks? Things have been better. Things have been worse. That's the attitude. Very stoic, very strong. It's downright inspiring. She skims an oily slab of faux ham off the top of her soup and pops it into her mouth. Now, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I'm assuming you're not here to admire the view. Have you had any nightmares recently? Like, bad ones? Jaw stops working mid-chew. Slowly, she nods. Yeah. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too. And Isabel. We both just had the same nightmare. Let me guess. You saw the walled city in a black whirlpool and teeth. Thousands and thousands of teeth. She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right because I just had the same dream. Creepy, I know. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city, I'm sure of it. All the negative energy pent up in there, all that anger and pain and poisonous chi, it's leaking out. And while we sleep, it's getting into us. You think this is a magical phenomenon, then? Yeah, I think it is. Well, my personal opinion, the walled city is cursed. Deep down, I think that everybody knows it, and we live in its shadow. It's bound to mess up with your head, you know? And it is, but they're just dreams. It's not like they can hurt us, right? He says they can't. She tries on a smile, fails, does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Seattle, we're fine here. But, let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. How'd you decide on the name Gobbet, anyway? I didn't. She pops a noddle in her mouth and chews. My mom did. So Gobbet is your given name? Your mother named you after a wad of meat? She shrugs. Yeah, sure. I didn't think she knew what it meant. She just thought it sounded pretty. You should get used to that, by the way. People in here in Hong Kong like to stand out, and choosing unique names is one of the ways they do it. If you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over the ambush back on the docks with you. Yeah. She nods slowly, frowning. Yeah, I figured you would. That was a hell of a thing, right? You could say that. It was fucking awful. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I watched those two fight through situations that kill anyone and come out on top. How do they go out? Jemime's holding a rifle, makes the show peering down the scope. Bang, bang. Dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished. Smashed like bugs. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. She absentmindedly raises a bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led us to that sewer entrance. All I did was follow. I'd like to learn more about Rat. What kind of totem is she? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. Clever one. She's gotten me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Gotten me into a fair amount of it too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her to. I can feel it in my belly, you know, sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I'm a shaman myself, but I've never had my totem take an active role in leading me anywhere before. Don't feel bad about it. Me and Rat, well, we have a sort of special bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. Another pair of beady eyes blinks up at you from Gobbet's hip. The second Rat scurries up to her shoulder to join the first. And to spoil and pamper her like children, like these two. Beat madness and folly. Are they just normal rats then? Thought they might have been spirits or something. Nope, just rats. She presses her finger across the white rat's mottled coat. Don't trust folly. She bites. How did you come across madness and folly? She raised an eyebrow. I looked outside. I mean, they're rats. Hong Kong isn't experiencing a rodent shortage or anything. So you just pick them up off the street? Yep. Think of them rescue vermin. You could probably do the same if you wanted to. It's easy. Just walk into any alleyway in Kowloon after sundown and stick your hand into the first dumpster or storm drain that you come across. Keep fishing around until you touch fur. That sounds like a really bad idea. Yeah, in retrospect, it might have been. She continues to brush Folly's coat. The creature chirps happily at her touch. Odds are about 50-50 that you get your hand chewed off. I'd probably feel bad about that. You seem pretty comfortable with all this. Been running the shadows for a while. She dips her chin. Long time. Started when I was just a kid. You're still a kid now, Gobbet. What are you, 19? She rolls her shoulders, shrugs. Something like that. Your guess is as good as mine. Doesn't change the fact that I've been doing this for years, and you started yesterday. Matter of fact, Seattle, I think I'm going to make a project of you. Take you under my wing, so to speak. You need a wizened mentor. Might as well be me. Sure, why not? I could use the advice, and I don't see Isabel volunteering for the job anytime soon. You're in? Good. Starting next time you visit, I'm going to teach you all about being a Shadowrunner. She stifles a yawn. You're going to benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. I'll be looking forward to it. Gobbet stretches, stifles a yawn. Her rats scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside is reduced down into a thick, viscous gravy. You know, Seattle, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late. I still have the rest of a hot pot to power through. So, without wanting us to get awkward, she glanced toward the jar. I can help you with that? What? We did just get done calling her a kid, too, so let's not do that. Even though she's fucking giant. Look at how huge she is compared to us. Say no more, I'll get out of your hair. Take it easy, Gobbit. Yeah, you too. Okay. So we talked to everyone. What's this? Oh, that's our going to Gillen's button. That's right. So I want to look at the mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. The upper right corner notifies you have 6 unread messages. Well, shit. Check your inbox for new messages. 6 unread messages. Alright. Welcome to Hyoi, from Kindly Chang. On behalf of your friends at the Hyoi Chamber of Commerce and the Swift Winds Mahjong Parlor, I welcome you to the community of Hyoi and to our new business venture. I have already lined up 3 jobs for you. The details of each are contained in a separate computer message. Remember to check your messages often, as I will update you with new opportunities as they occur. Hey Cade, I've set up your mission computer to automatically collect and collate news reports, information, and media that might be of interest to you. Some of the keywords I've got it trolling for are things like Raymond, Duncan, Walled City, etc. I've also patched in a permanent link up to the Hong Kong shard of the Shadowlands BBS. It's a great place to connect to other runners, sell pay data, get news from the street, and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. Bao Jianjun. I've instructed to inform you of the various suppliers present in Hyoi. Auntie Cheng has cultivated a commercial district of well-stocked and trustworthy vendors. Whoever you choose to do business with, you will be in good hands. Our mine Kai-Fi Club 88 is an excellent resource for acquiring additional weapons, should you require any. If you are in need of magical supplies, go to the Parlor of 5 Phases. If you desire training in the Path of the Adept, seek out Spider Chen. She can help you, as well as supply you with any close-quarters weapons you might desire. Crow Malley can supply you with cybernetic enhancements and medical supplies. The proprietor, 10-Armed Ambrose, is a cyber surgeon of some repute. Law's Techno Palace is a Wampoan-run supplier of the local decking community. The place is hard to miss. Just look for the sign glowing in the sky. If you need drones, reliable Matthews Robot Bazaar is your best bet, and I pity you. Best of luck in the shadows. As fresh meat, you are likely to need it. I've got a problem, Cade, and you're going to help me solve it. I do a lot of business with Wampoans. If you're not familiar with the term, I'll forgive you. You are an outsider, after all. The Wampoans are a tribe of techno-fetishists and deckers who've taken up residence in the Whampoa Garden area of Hong Kong. They make and trade high-tech goods to people from all over the world. A lot of new yen passes through their pasty little fingers, and I make a lot of money brokering deals between them and the smugglers here in Hyoi. I've hit a snag, though. The Wampoan elders, their council of leaders, are being eliminated by a serial killer. They've asked me to dispatch someone to get to the bottom of it and stop the killings, and they're not taking their goods through my turf until I do. So you're going to be my proxy, dear. I don't care how you do it, but I need those murders stopped. The Wampoans have a delegate here in Hoi by the name of Maximum Law. Speak to him if you wish to know about Whampoa. He's got a big mouth, but he knows very little of importance. Don't expect much from that half-empty bottle of vinegar. You get your ass down to Whampoa Garden and talk to the elders. Lie, cheat, and steal if you have to. So long as they're convinced that there won't be any more murders. I want my cut back, and I want it soon. Welcome to the Shadows, Cade. I've received a request from archaeologist named Mr. Drake. He's interested in liberating certain artifacts from beneath a manor house located in Tai Po. Attached a copy of the video message that he sent me. Oh, look at his charming face. The screen flickers a few times, and the email is replaced with the face of a stern-looking orc. Hello, Madam Chang. I've heard that you're a woman who knows how to get things done, especially with regards to things that aren't legal in the strictest sense. That's exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hua decided to expand his manor house in the outskirts of Tai Po. Too much money, not enough space for fancy parties. He hit a snag with local government officials, however. They suspected the land his estate was built on may have pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried beneath it, all of them dating from the Song dynasty. Consequently, I was contracted as an archaeologist to oversee the excavations and ensure everything was properly recorded and catalogued. Sure enough, we were only a few days into the excavation when we discovered a series of tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Liu or I had expected, several acres of catacombs at least, and untouched relics throughout. What's more, they're certainly older than the Song Dynasty. They may even be from the previous cycle of magic. Before I could make my reports to the Free Enterprise Zone authorities, however, Liu called in his allies in Tan Tien Incorporated. Liu sold the entire site to Tan Tien, who then leased it back to him. Because Tan Tien is considered to have extraterritoriality in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Liu from looting the tombs. Immediately began building a museum, if you can call it that, atop the site. He had the gall to call his museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe that? The odds of there being an actual Emperor buried there are basically nil, but he doesn't care. Anything to sell a few tickets. Liu has continued his excavations using Tan Tien contractors to expand the dig. What he didn't know is that I bugged his comlink before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on in the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing, only to be found dead several days later. Whatever is down there is too dangerous to be left in Liu's hands. Liu must have found my data line tapped, though. I stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. The last thing I heard him talking about were a pair of ancient texts that workers had discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he can secure the subterranean areas. I'm betting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. I have quite a bit of experience with these kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, aren't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they can carry. Beyond the 2 texts, I'm willing to pay very well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate. The more valuable, the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to actual museums, not some rich playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Liu's security system. The team will have to be careful, though. There are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that number, and I'll scrub the mission. I've included a catalog of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle. In fact, I prefer they make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they can. Let me know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it. A nice, simple robbery. Do you think you can handle something that basic, dear? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on your way. Geomantic sabotage. Geomancy is big business in the Free Enterprise Zone. Here in Hong Kong, feng shui isn't just the act of rearranging your kitchen to make things look pretty. The fortunes of empires rise and fall with the ebb and flow of qi, and sometimes that flow needs a helping hand. Wuxing Incorporated are the preeminent practitioners of large-scale qi manipulation here in the Free Enterprise Zone. They've gone to great lengths to channel the qi from all over Hong Kong into their headquarters, an enormous monstrosity that they call the Wuxing Sky Tower. There, it is focused and transformed into good fortune through the building's geomantically attuned architecture and interior decoration. Our client believes that it's time for Wuxing's good luck to run out. You are to infiltrate the Sky Tower and disrupt the flow of qi throughout the building, but you are to do so in 2 distinct fashions. First, you must disrupt the feng shui of the offices by subtly altering the environment of that level. This will consist of minor adjustments of desks, spilled water, and other small activities that are unlikely to be noticed. Ordinarily, even subtle disturbances of this nature will be noticed. This is why the client wishes you to make a much louder demonstration on the rooftop garden. The garden is to be ransacked, utterly destroyed, set fire to things, uproot trees, that sort of thing. Our client has also specified that he would like you to destroy the large Buddhist statue in the garden, smash the thing to bits, and leave them scattered across the rooftop. This level of destruction will keep Wuxing's geomancers busy long enough that the more subtle disruptions below will take effect. In addition, it will send them a kind of message our client would like Wuxing to hear. I have utmost faith in your ability to cause destruction. The more destruction you can cause on both levels of the Sky Tower, the happier the client will be. Given your own skills with magic, you should have an easier time identifying the most effective ways to disrupt the qi of the building. Wait. Okay. Whoops. I want to go to Shadowland. Shadowland! Spoofing equals 1. That's all you gotta do. Missed connections. You, rappelling down the side of an unnamed luxury hotel in a ball gown on Monday night. Me, admiring the view from the 28th floor urinals during a private soiree for an unnamed corporation I was infiltrating. Our eyes met briefly before you dropped out of sight. Your long, dark hair had come loose from your chignon, I don't know how to pronounce that, framing your beautiful, flushed face. I will never forget it. You were carrying a duffel bag bulging with stolen prototype weaponry. Well, I filched the intel that goes with it. Can we connect? Very funny, Blackjack. I'm sorry the job went sideways. I got trapped and had only one way out. We were supposed to have each other's backs. Just wait till you hear the way out that I had to take. We gotta lay low for now. And why are we posting about this on a public message board? Been hearing some buzz about some mainlander terrorists that showed up in Victoria Harbor and had a shootout with the HKPF the other day. Heard anything on that? Bing Pao said there were 4 of them that got away. 1 human, 2 orcs, and a dwarf. A troll, an elf, and a human were all killed on the scene. Word is that they're members of the White Star out of Hainan, coming here to start trouble against the Executive Council. I didn't actually realize that Gavit was an orc, but I guess that makes sense. Looks like there's a 50,000 new yen reward for any information leading to their capture. The HKPF seems pretty nervous about letting these bastards walk freely around the streets. Think they'd actually pay that out to someone like us? Not a chance. You walk in there to claim the reward, you're getting thrown in the hole with them. The HKPF doesn't keep promises to the sinless. Couldn't hurt to try. Why'd you have to be such a downer? Because I know the police. They're all dirty. They're only in it to protect their paychecks. They don't give a damn about anybody else. Believe me, I'm just looking out for your best interests. Like you and your triad looked out for my brother? You know he's still paying for his reconstructive surgery, you bastard. If a man wants to keep his teeth, he should pay what he owes rather than pull a gun on me. Simple as that. Poetry Slam. Ladies and gentlemen, poets and Shadowrunners, welcome to the first annual Shadowland Poetry Slam. There are no rules, and there are also no prizes, except bragging rights. With no further ado, let the versification begin. How long do you think we can keep this going before the trolls show up or a sysadmin shuts us down? Why would they shut us down? It's a free board. We could be poetic if we want to. Just trust me. It happens. For some reason, these things always draw the worst sort of attention. Are you going to give us a poem, or are you going to stand around complaining about why you can't? Alright, I've got one. Wait for it. Synth muzzle, smart links, neural boosters, cyber limbs, all fall to grenades. A little musing on the transience of life in the shadows. Very nice, sir. When the long shadows fall in Hong Kong, neon lights pierce the coming night. Tread with me the velvet blackness. Let no lamp shine on our deeds. That one's entitled Our Hour. That might have just been the most pompous thing I've ever read. Try this on for size. Lasers are red, shadows are black. With Mad on the street, you'd best watch your back. My poem wasn't pompous, you uncultivated rube. It was an homage to Wang Wei, the famous Tang Dynasty master of the Zhuzhu form of poetry. It's traditional, unlike that ridiculous limerick that you posted. Now, I don't think you have to take the word slam quite so literally. Hey, you people know the rules. Poetry slams have been out of bounds on this BBS since the Laughing Man debacle of 55. You want to sling your fancy words, do it on a different forum. I'm shutting this thread down. Told you. It's a year in the past. It's only a year in the past. What the hell happened? A year? I thought it'd be like a distant thing. I've got a courier job next week that's supposed to take me to the walled city. I'm from Kuala Lumpur and I've never been to Hong Kong, but I hear the place is dangerous as hell. Is there anything I should know? Oh, you got nothing to worry about. It's just a low-cost housing development full of hard-working people. Here, take a look at this news report. Short trade clip becomes playing. This is Sunny Chung with Horizon News. On today's Sunny Side Up, the Kowloon Walled City, a blight on the free enterprise zone, or low-cost housing for the economically disadvantaged. We'll introduce you to some of the hard-working residents, how they live, and how they contribute to the growth and prosperity of our city. A montage sequence begins, showcasing the destitute poor of the walled city going about their daily lives. Shots have been carefully chosen, showing only the smiling and productive residents, a stark contrast to your own experience inside of it. Many residents of Hong Kong regard the walled city as a place of no return. To outsiders, it's the last stop on a long road to homelessness. Rumors abound of feral ghouls, unsafe living conditions, and triad extortions. Yet when we went there, the reality was far different. What we saw will shock you. Citizens of Hong Kong, working and living, just like the rest of us. Their apartments are smaller, and their shops more modest, but the people who live here wouldn't be out of place anywhere in the free economic zone. Citizens like shoemaker Chow Sung Tzu. The scene cuts to an elderly man in a closet-sized stall filled with shoemaking equipment. He smiles broadly at the camera. Oh, I love it here. We have a community, you know. We're like family. Maybe we don't have as nice a view as they do in Repulse Bay, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's not paradise, no, but it's my home. I grew up here. How could I possibly leave? The camera shifts back to Sunny Chung, who now stands in front of one of the entrances to the walled city. Contrary to popular opinion, the walled city serves a vital function. The poor and downtrodden find a home in the walled city, a community where they have a voice, can work, and even prosper. Far from being the eyesore that the video suddenly stutters, freezes, and ends. Okay, I've decided to cut the rest of that crap. She keeps going on about what a good place the walled city is. How does this work? It's a text! Like, you're just posting a link. What a good place the walled city is, and how we all need it. Don't buy any of it. It may not be hell, but you can see it from there. Freedom Cowboy's just trying to get you in trouble. So, how do you know the real story? Because I grew up there. You know what it's really like? It's eating old broth made from rat bones because there's nothing else. It's watching your neighbors sell their 5-year-old son to organ leggers so they don't starve to death. When you die in the walled city, your neighbors cheer because they'll get the clothes off your back. I wouldn't wish the walled city on my worst enemy. Alright. Let's see. So I think all we have to do is take a job now. Oh no, I want to go buy a cyber deck. That's right. So that means going to Maximum Law. Maximum Law! Which means I also need to buy programs. So I need the good one. I need programs. No. I don't actually know what these do. Okay. I was like, I know what that does. Alright. Think that's good enough? I think those are the basic ones that I want. It is I mean, it's a lot, but this is kind of the problem with, Alright, that's fine. Whoops. Now I want to go to... I've got my deck on my back now. Go to the magic shop and look at the spells. I would like to get more spells. I think I have... I can look at my inventory. Yeah, I have 2 slots for spells. So... It is kind of funny that I happen to make Isabel and Gobbet basically I'm overlapping both of them. Oh, I was wondering about this. So yeah, these are qualified as weapons rather than... Which is interesting, because I mean, yeah, if you have spellcasting 1, you could just use a power bolt instead of a gun. I don't want that, but it's interesting that you can. Okay, so spells versus conjuring. None of these are good. What do I have? I have haste and... can I look at this? I have Mana Bolt, which is not really that great. Haste is good though. Oh, I didn't realize okay. I didn't know that I could bring that up while I was looking at her stuff. I don't have heal, but Gobbet has heal. But I might want 2 heals. I don't know. Life Siphon I could get, which is... seems actually quite good. It is kind of overlapping with Mana Bolt. This seems like a better Mana Bolt, basically. But I do already have Mana Bolt, so... Also, yeah, I mean, it would be... I'm only going to be able to get 1 spell, probably, so... Mana Ball... I think that's probably a better thing to get. Stun Bolt we don't want. Mine, yeah, we don't want. Acid Stream we don't want, because these are like single target. I mean, they're good eventually, but yeah, again, that's just a giant single target damage. Local down though, at least. I think Mana Ball makes sense as a thing to get. Because again, none of these are good. Not getting any clothes right now. Alright. Everybody's good here. Oh, we get him, that's right. Excuse me. Robot is plus 5% accuracy, plus 1 movement speed. Shotgun mount. Alright, so it can be like a melee drone. I don't think we want it to be a melee drone. Wow, a laser. Yeah, we just want it to be a ranged drone. Okay. Okay, so we are good. I think we will wait to start a job until next time. So I'll end the stream a little early. I'm also feeling a little not great at the moment. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll make a new save. Okay. Thanks to everyone who joined me tonight for Shadowrun Hong Kong. Really enjoying this game. Glad I'm playing it finally. I should be back next week with more Shadowrun Hong Kong. I should be gone tomorrow, but I should be back on Thursday. I'll be finishing Halo on Thursday. We got 2 levels left. Keys in the Maw. This is Halo 1 PC. Straight from the old CD. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, if you've never seen the end of Halo, it's a good ending. It's a pretty memorable sequence. So that's good. Looking forward to that. So yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out and chatting. It's a lot of fun for me. I hope it's fun for you guys, and I hope that you stop by again in the future. Follow, subscribe, do that stuff. Goodbye.
So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I say so long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to play and sing together in the box, and now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we